Welcome back, beasts, and welcome to my garage gym. Today I want to show you how to properly warm up for pretty much any type of workout. If you're training with me or if you're one of my online clients and following one of the online plans, you will know most of these movements already, but we're going to go through some dynamic stretches, some muscle activation, and some mobility drills. First things first though, you gotta raise the heart rate. I already did that. You might see a little bit of sweat on my forehead. You have options here. You can jump on the treadmill, go for a little run or walk outside, ride your bike, whatever it is that is available to you. Do some cardio. You can do jump ropes. You can do some air squats. You can do knee raises. You can just jam it out and dance it out, whatever it is that gets your heart rate up and gets you warmed up. You will know that you are warmed up when you're sweating a little bit, maybe. Depends on where you are and what the climate is. But you will feel your body temperature rise. You will feel that your pulse is faster and you will be breathing harder. I'm already breathing hard. You can see I warmed up already. So once you've raised your heart rate, about 5 to 10 minutes are fine. You can move on to the next thing. You could do a little bit longer. You can go up to 20 minutes if you like to, but keep in mind that this is your warm-up and not your actual workout, so you don't really want to pre-fatigue yourself too much. So once you're done raising your heart rate, you danced around, you did whatever it is that gets your heart pumping, we're gonna jump in right into the first thing, and that is lubricating our foundation. Most exercises that you will do, you will need your hands and you will need your feet for. So we're gonna make sure that our ankles and our wrists are moving properly, are warmed up, and can do their full range of motion without any issues. So these are some wrist rolls right here. And then we're also gonna do some ankle rolls. And you can hear all my joints cracking. That is totally normal and totally fine. I'm just getting all the stiffness out. Really pushing into that, pushing into that. We don't want to apply too much pressure, but we do want to make sure that everything is moving in the right direction here. Now my left ankle is a little bit stiff, so I'm personally going to work on my ankle a little bit more later. And that is something that you should do in your warm-ups too. If you have any type of compensation patterns, old injuries that you need to fix or anything like that, you should implement that in your warm-up. It's also a good idea to foam roll any muscle that is tight to make sure that that muscle can use its full range of motion during the exercise. So once we're done with our wrists and ankle rolls, we are going to grab a resistance band and start on the shoulders. And we're gonna work our way from the top to the bottom, slowly activating all those muscles and working through all the joints. So what we're gonna do now is band pull aparts. We wanna activate our shoulders and our back muscles. You can use any type of band for that. Light resistance though. You can use a loop band, you can use a tube band, you can use a Terra band, whatever it is that is available to you. We're gonna use the Terra band today. So I'm just gonna wrap this around my hands here. And you want it to be about shoulder width apart, kind of depends on the resistance of your band. I'm gonna start with a diagonal pull apart. Arms to the front, one goes down, and then we're gonna pull out here, and then you wanna hold this stretch for 5 seconds. And what you're doing is activating the back of your shoulders, so your delts, your traps, all of your back muscles here. All of the stabilizers that are important for pulling your shoulder blades back and keeping your thoracic spine straight. You want to do about 2 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions. So that makes it 3 to 4 reps per side. And then just hold for a couple seconds here, 2 to 5 seconds. 5 seconds are ideal, but I understand that sometimes we don't really have that much time. I'm just going to show you one set of each of these exercises, but you can add the second one, pause the video and add the second one, and then move on to the next one. And I lost count, but I feel like that should be it. My shoulders are starting to feel the burn a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. We just want to wake up the joints a little bit. Now we're going to move on right over. You can use your band for this to the shoulder pass through. which means we're gonna take the shoulder joints through their full range of motion. And you can go as far apart here as you need to, but you should be feeling a stretch in your front of the shoulders and in the chest as you move through here, unless you're already super mobile and you don't feel a stretch at all. Make sure that you maintain braced position here. That means a straight back. I don't want you to push the chest out. I also don't want you rounding forward, and you should also watch out for your head jutting out as that band moves back. Soft knees, abs tight, ribs down, pelvis in neutral position, braced position. Don't forget to breathe. And again, 2 sets of about 6 to 8. This stretch feels really good, so I'm gonna hang out here a little bit. You can also use that band to not hit your garage opener and to stretch over a little bit. Ooh, that was a nice pop in my back right there. Stretch back and forth for a moment. And that is a great shoulder warm up and shoulder opener. Next one is the inchworm. I'm just down here to explain it to you. I'm gonna stand up in a second again to begin the exercise. The inchworm is gonna put some weight onto the shoulders. Now after we warm those up, we're gonna start putting a little bit of weight on it, and we're also gonna activate the core through bracing because we're gonna be walking out into a plank. And since we are walking out from standing position into a plank, you will also get a nice stretch for your lower back, butt, and hamstrings. So what you want to do is stand at the end of your mat. Take a deep breath, reach up nice and tall, bring the ribs down, bring the arms to the front, and then keeping your legs as straight as possible but not hurting yourself. Walk it out to a plank, hold the plank for a full Mississippi, say it in your head, say it out loud, whatever you need to do, and then walk it back, again keeping your legs as straight as possible and reaching up. And then you repeat this 2 sets, 6 to 8 repetitions. You could also, if you have enough room, now walk your hands in and then just continue walking forward. But since we don't have that room in the garage, we're gonna do a half isometric inchworm with a reach up. And by reaching up and then coming all the way back down, we're also getting our blood flowing again. So this is basically cardio part 2. If you're in a time pinch, you could just start with the inchworms and leave out the cardio part in the beginning where you raise your heart rate, because this will raise your heart rate as well. That is also something that I do quite often. I just skip right to the inchworms and then do my pull aparts after. It really depends on how much time you have. Again, I lost count. I'm not really good at talking and exercising and counting at the same time, but like I said, 6 to 8 times, 2 sets. And we're actually going to combine this one with the next exercise. We're going to stay right here at the end of our 6th or 8th rep, and we're going to take it into a runner's lunge. You bring a foot forward next to the hand, drop those hips down, really feel that stretch, and then rotate up. And you should be feeling a good stretch in your butt cheek here, maybe your hamstrings, and in your hip flexor on the other side. And by rotating up, you open up that rib cage. Hold this 2 to 5 seconds, back down, step it back, other foot forward, drop those hips, rotate up, keep the hips down, feel the stretch, 2 to 5 seconds, and back down. And also here, 6 to 8 reps, so 3 to 4 times per side. Keep breathing. As you can hear from my breathing, I am, in fact, warming up. Third one over here. Hold for a couple seconds, 2 to 5 seconds. Step it back, other foot, rotate up, 2 to 5 seconds, come back down, step it back down. Now we're gonna go right over to the next exercise since we're already down here. So this is a tricep or tricep or a giant set. Giant set means more than 2 exercises in one set. Tricep obviously means 3 exercises in one set. And we're gonna go right over into the scap push-ups. Scap push-up means you come in a plank position and then you push your shoulder blades forward and then tug them all the way back in. All the way forward, all the way in. And you wanna avoid rounding your spine and arching here. So your hips should stay steady, your back stays straight, forward, drop them in, forward, drop them in. Also avoid jutting your head out. So the only thing moving here are your shoulder blades. 6 to 8. And then you can walk it back up. You can stretch here for a moment and then roll it up 1 vertebrae at a time and go right back over to the second set. We are well into our warm-up here. The sweat is already dripping. We have warmed up our wrists, our shoulders, and our core. Remember the bracing in the plank, that is waking up the core as well. Now it's time to move on to the legs. We're going to do a Cossack squat. So we're going to stand with the legs wide, and then we're going to squat down to one side, and you want to put the weight on the whole foot, pushing that knee out to the side and keeping your upper body upright. So make sure that you're not collapsing forward here. Shoulders up, chest out, abs in tight, squeeze the booty, knees out, feet flat. And now we're going to shift over to the other side. And same thing here, push that knee out, flat foot. You might feel a little stretch over here in your hip flexors. And you're activating the butt and the quads. And you're also using your core to keep yourself upright. 6 to 8 reps. You could do this with a little bit of weight. Or if you have, you could use a broomstick, a dowel, a PVC pipe, a bar, depending on what you have, depending on your strength level, to make sure that your shoulders stay parallel to the ground. Squat to the side, shift over without rotating that upper body or bending. Weight on the flat foot, push that knee out. 6 to 8 reps. That makes it 3 to 4 per side. Hold that for a couple seconds here. And then we're gonna move on. This is also a superset. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna do this sideways so I don't hit anything. You wanna stay in your wide stance. If you have a dowel, you can use that. I'm gonna show you without first. Same stance as the Cossack squat. We really haven't moved. Pretend I didn't turn. Arms out to the side, brace the core, keep the shoulders back. We're gonna windmill to the knees. This is a dynamic stretch. And then we're slowly gonna get lower until we touch those toes and use the momentum to rotate into that stretch. So open up the opening up the rib cage, moving through our back, and then slowly take it back up, all the way up until you're back at the top. You also want to make sure that you're rounding here. That's important. We want to practice bracing and staying straight. So push that butt back and keep your core braced and strong. Make sure you're not rounding forward. We don't want to see this, right? Straight backs. Now, if you have a broomstick, dowel, PVC pipe, anything like that, you can bring this onto your back and then spread your arms out like this. And then you can just use the pipe, the dowel, the stick as a prop to help you rotate and open up your rib cage even more. So it's going to help you get that rotation up here, and you're going to feel a little bit of stretch and opening in your ribs. And that's that. Last but not least, we're going to do a body weight good morning, or you could do this with a bar, a dowel, whatever you have available, depending on your strength level. I'm just going to show you the body weight, and then I'm going to show it to you with the PVC pipe. Now, we have worked out pretty much everything. We've just done the quads and the Cossack squat. We've stretched the backside, but we haven't really activated it yet. So what we're going to do is a good morning, hands behind the head, brace your torso, stay straight. We're going to keep the legs straight, and we're going to hinge at the hips. Coming forward, you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings here, and then squeeze the butt up. So this is mostly a hamstring exercise, but we're using the entire back stabilization chain So hamstrings, booty, lower back. Hold this for a moment. Ideally, you want to get your body parallel to the ground. You don't have to go lower. Most people start, you can probably see my back rounding right now. We don't want to do that. We're going to keep straight and come back up. Hinge, unhinge, hinge, unhinged. Like I said, you can do this with a bar, dowel, broomstick, depending on what you have and depending on your strength level. So we're just gonna get in braced position as always, neutral pelvis tilt, shoulder blades back, ribs down, core tight, hinge at the hips, and come up. I'm gonna turn just a little bit more so you can see that my butt comes back behind the heels as my shoulders come down. This is important to shift the center of gravity back as we come forward so we don't just fall forward, right? Makes sense, physics. Brace, stay tight, stay straight, hinge, squeeze up. If you've never hinged before, you don't know how to do it, you can also use this to hit the transmitter of your mic, trying to be fancy here. Bring this in your butt crack and right between your shoulder blades. Brace against it. You want to stay straight, right? So we're bracing against the dowel. And then practice hinging with a straight back. Hinge and up. So we want to make sure that we're not arching and we're also not rounding away from our dowel here. Braced and up. Braced and up. And that pretty much concludes our warm-up. As you can hear, I am breathing heavy, I am sweating, I'm definitely warmed up. I took my whole body through its full range of motion. You can add a little bit more mobility work, you can add foam rolling. It is only beneficial to you, but if you don't have time to do all the extras, you will be golden with this one. Now go and get your beast mode on and get strong.